says it's going live. It says that I'm live. Yay! Wow. Like, I almost missed this. Not joking, folks. I just all of a sudden, I literally just shot a swear jar video because I abruptly had something that I wanted to say. And so I finished that up and got it uploaded to edit. Thank you, Steve. And then I looked, I'm like, what do you mean? I'm going to go on in 5 minutes? Wait, where are my notes? I did it again. Oh, here they are. I was like, where are my notes? I had them before I sat down last time. I put them somewhere. Where did I put them? I did it again, like, literally just now. Hi, everybody. So in, I don't know, relatively soon, there will be a new swear jar video for patrons. But that's not what this is. This is here for Miss Marvel. Yay! Yay! So, Miss Marvel, the streaming series on Disney Plus has finished up as of last Wednesday. And I was doing my reviews and making sure they went out by Tuesday. After the first one didn't because I wasn't at home to record it. But then I was like, you know what? It's kind of a special thing. I'm going to do a live stream. And there's people in the chat. Yay. I'm not really a fan of coleslaw, but I am, however, a fan of puns. So props for that. Dun. And I will say, we went to Disney. That was why my first Miss Marvel was behind the first couple of them. And one of the things that I ate while I was there, they have a spicy chicken sandwich that's served on a waffle in the Magic Kingdom over in Liberty Square, and it's got coleslaw as a garnish. So you are absolutely right. It's like chicken, and it's a little bit spicy, but the oil in the coleslaw sort of balances it out in the tanginess. So good. One of my favorite things to get at Disney World. Plus, not super expensive. Very tasty. So y'all have said some interesting things here. We're Admiral Daddy something. Yeah, that character actually has a name. None of us really remembered it, except Steve, because like that's what makes him like the fancy dancy YouTuber. Steve, we don't care if you take things personally. It's okay. Andrew, can't you just like, hi, home buddy. Can't you just like, get one of the youngs to help you out with the technology and the hey? Okay. So I've scrolled all the way through the chat and responded to things that people have said. Hi, Wordfish Trombone. So, here's my notes for this episode. And we'll start off. If you notice, I've used like different colors for each episode. You might think that this is so that I can keep track of which episode I'm on. That is partly it, but also it's because I like colors. And it makes me happy to use different colors. So, hooray! So my first note is Agent Barry. There was a new dude. Don't think we'd seen him before. I think that agent is a new one. No, Steve, you and your work ethic and your commitment to being a professional is what makes you a fancy dancy YouTuber. But because you're a fancy dancy YouTuber, you put that effort into remembering the names of your characters. So, it's like a cause-consequence kind of thing. Hey, Emily! No, Andrew, it's important not to forget the youngs. And this is actually something that's going to come up on this live stream a little bit later. So yeah, it was interesting to see another agent in the Department of Damage Control get a name. Very curious about where they're going to go with that, especially since it's in the last episode of this series. So they're not going to be doing, they didn't do a whole bunch with him. He showed up a little bit later, but, not significant. So it feels like they're introducing him for somebody else. Uh-oh. My next note says, this kid? Not really sure why. Skipping that. And then my note was, why is Cameron injured? The explosion. But later on, we find out that he says that he hurts, like he feels like he's being torn apart from the or eaten from the inside. So there's the implication is it's just the development of his powers that seems to be his pain, whether or not it's actually an injury. Andrew, you're procrastinating, but I approve because you're making time for this. So thank you so much. All right. Oh, and then, all caps. See? We missed Yusuf. And it's the scene that's been on social media, the family gossip train. And when he says that on the phone, call where you make it so that everybody can hear. Actually, here, I've got my phone here. I can go over here. I don't... These things work where you go to keypad and you... What's it called? Help! Help! Voice? Where you make the voice loud. Y'all say it in chat, because my brain no brainy. It doesn't have it. I'm not calling anybody, and it won't tell me what the thing is. And where you put this... Speakerphone! 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 They say he's always on speakerphone. And he's like, speakerphone is so convenient. I'm like, yes! Yusuf. We missed you. I missed him so much. Yes, Steve. Speakerphone. Thank you. See, there's that 30-second delay. Useful sometimes. Other times, kind of works against you. It is convenient. Oh, gosh. I missed Yusuf so much. He's just such a great character, and the actor does such a fantastic job with it. It is just a shame that we don't have more use of. Yeah, not the volume control, but yeah, speakerphone. Okay. And then Muniba says, we trust her. Great. I mean, not just a great bookend, because, I mean, it was so funny when she says, when Yusuf's like, it's not that we don't trust you. And she's like, no. We don't trust you. But also, it just really illustrates the growth in that relationship. And oh my goodness, Muniba is my favorite. Yusuf, I love you. I really do. I love you. You're so awesome. But Muniba, as a mom, oh my gosh, has my heart. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry more. Because then, of course, Muniba gives her the costume. And I felt like when I saw it, I was like, Nikes. I knew this. And I should have seen that the big hunk, little hunk, or her little hunk costume being a shalwar kameez was a setup for getting this costume from her mom. I should have put that together, and I totally didn't. Because, of course, like, I knew from having seen Miss Marvel before in other media that she wears a shalwar kameez. That's her costume. And I wasn't thinking about it. And her mom has it, and it's so pretty, and I'm just like, oh. And it shows growth. And of course, for those of us who are Gen Xers, late millennials, we remember Lois and Clark. And when Superman gets confronted about the costume being kind of chintzy, he says, well, without the glasses thing, because he's not Clark at the time, he says, my mother made this costume for me. And it's such a great line. And now she gets this costume from her mother. So it's also, I don't know, maybe that's just coincidental. But it feels like a connection to another part of our generation's cultural history. I love that so much. Oh! And did anybody notice? It was in a milk toffee box. The candies that Sana remembered that Muniba loves, that they had that wonderful conversation over where they were sharing the milk toffees, and then Muniba has, a similar moment with Kamala, and Kamala's like, you like these? And she doesn't, and when it was like, yeah, I like these kitties. They're my favorites. Huh. See, Ross, that's why I said Superman says it, not Dean Cain. Because it's Superman's line. Dean Cain is simply the actor who delivers it. And he did a good job. I will give him that. He did his job. So, that. Oh, and, oh, shoot. No. What's her name? Best friend. Of course, it's by the time y'all tell me, I can see her face. Kamala's friend. The girl who is in charge at the mosque. Help. I can see her face. Brain no wanna brainy today. It's been a rough day. If you watched my unboxing video, which I put up, I don't know, maybe an hour ago, I was just like, I start off with, it's been a rough day. Nakia, yes, thank you, Philip. Ugh, it's going to be like this because I didn't write names and stuff down and just brain no brainy. There's no reason for it. Not particularly. Maybe the rain. It's been really rainy here today in Chattanooga. But IDK. Anyhow. Ross, Steve ain't going to agree with you on that one. Okay. So, very smart of her. She is very, she's been very practical the whole way through. Very pragmatic, just great strategically. The high school being empty, when she's like, we're going to do this at the high school. And they're like, high school, why? She's like, it'll be empty on a Saturday. I'm like, that's a really good point. So we cut to the mosque. And I love the shot because we can see that she's wearing her little motorcycle boots, a little shortcut, ankle boots again. And she's walking into the mosque with her damn boots on. And yet, she gets offered cookies. The secret ingredient is nutmeg. I will tell you, nutmeg and chocolate go together really well. Cinnamon and chocolate also. I prefer cinnamon and chocolate, but nutmeg and chocolate is pretty interesting. You think nutmeg would go better in an oatmeal raisin cookie, but it's a really interesting blend for chocolate chip. And of course, it is not, it's just one of the guys, just somebody who goes there. Maybe he's part of like their council, maybe, but we haven't seen that. It's just some guy, and he offers her cookies. Like, and also, of course, the obvious thing is when they come in, they're like, we need to see ID. Oh, Andrew, I'm so sorry. Wow, that's a bombshell. Oh, that is definitely a rough day. I hope things work out. So whether they work out, in any sort of way, I hope things work out safely, healthily, and happily for you. Bummer. The boyfriend. Not sure. Oh, I guess that must have been Amir confronting Kamran. And he's like, do you even like the Bake Off? Oh my goodness. And Amir, bless you. And of course, Sagar Shaikh is his delivery of it. He's just, it's such a great comic scene, but what he does is he puts that authenticity into it. Like, it seems like he's really like, I can't believe, like, he's just really gutted. Like, I trusted you. Great delivery, man. Really appreciated it. Oh! And then, the hats. The ball caps. Haram and halal. I about died. I died. Oh my goodness. So funny. So Kamran's powers, he uses them again, and we hear Najma's voice, which is really interesting. I mean, because you kind of think that she's dead, but has she, like, sort of, is he remembering her, or is she still around in some way? We don't know. Um, my note says the apology. I'm going to cry. Can't remember whose apology it is. I'm guessing. Nope, really not sure. Yes, Ross. Somebody mentioned that as well. I've seen that mentioned on social media that essentially now Bruno and Kamran are sort of like unofficial Avengers because they've used baseball caps and hoodies as a disguise. Possibly Amir as well. Ross, that's totally valid for today. Today is a MCU CMU kind of day. Yeah, and I wasn't sure. I wish it had been clearer what had happened to the apartment, but that's a minor quibble. And then Zoe shows up, and we find out that she really did recognize Kamala, but that she chose to not publicize all of that. I do think it's a bit of a stretch to have her not having sort of been kind of, peeking or at least attempting to make any sort of contact or it changing, seeing the effort of holding that in. Because I don't think the character is as good of an actress as the actor is. It didn't come across like she was, she knew more and she was holding back on it. Which, at the same time, is not necessarily the fault of the actor either, because it may also have been that the directors and the writers didn't want to give that away too much, so they just said, just play it like, you don't know. It is what it is. Oh yeah, Peter, if you were asking about me, I have watched the first episode of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Da 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 da. Not gonna watch anymore. Not happening. Yeah, I mean, Andrew, and they're not nearly as famous as Superman is. So, and especially, with a bunch of them having ball caps and hoodies, that was pretty good. Oh, and then my note. Between, Zoe shows up and I'm just like, okay, we have a Scooby Gang! So I would love to see it, having it be like a team story where, yes, Kamala is the superhero, but, she has people that she works with and it really is a team effort. That would be really fun. Chalk outlines night. Oh, right. So when she starts doing the, here's the plan, and then we segue to them acting out the plan and the chalk outlines go around what they're doing. That was a nice way to, again, bring in her artwork, her sort of design and her sort of visual mentality, and again, use that as a segue to the actual action. That was fun. Steve, I thought that was really interesting too, and because she's also there after hours, and the implication is that she sneaks into school to do her TikToks. And so that raises, I mean, if they've thought about it, and I think they have, the implication is that she could be doing this, that she's choosing to do this and sneak in to do this, because she could just stay late after school and just use, I think she said the auditorium. She could just do it then, but she chooses to come in on the weekend instead. And if it's just a contrivance, that's kind of weak. But if that actually factors into the storyline and her character and her choices later, I think that's really strong, because it also means that she's willing to take the risk. And it tells us she's willing to take the risk, and it tells us that she doesn't want to just stay after school, possibly because she doesn't want people to know that either she doesn't have this, some great studio of her own, or that she doesn't want people to see what she's doing. So there are different possibilities. I'm thinking about that maybe more than the showrunners care. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They seem to have thought out a lot of these details, which is what makes a lot of the reviews so much fun. It's like, did they mean this? What do they mean by this? Is this just a coincidence? Or is it something they're like, hey, are you paying attention? Because there's so much, like when you go back and you look at all of the details, and I think that's the case a lot of the times. They throw in not just Easter eggs, but details that sort of add to the narrative that make a rewatch especially meaningful. Not like super meaningful, but it's like, oh, hey, here's this other thing that add layers in and make it interesting in new ways. And I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah, Ross, I saw that. And Quinte Brunson plays Oprah. I saw a shot of them together and saying, wow, they're both really short, basically. All right, so additional notes. Where are we at here? Bum, bum, bum. Oh no, now it says Amir and Kamran with a laugh. Zoe and the Fire X EXTIRY. Oh no, that's supposed to, it's short for extinguisher. Oh yeah, when she was going but like the little hammer to open it is right there. But what we decided is she's watched so many movies where somebody's just like, BAM! And it's, you know, it's more badass than if you like take up the little hammer that's supposed to break the glass with and you break the glass with it the way it's supposed to be broken. But the reason the hammer's there is because that's much more effective than actually hitting that sucker with your elbow. It was just so funny. Like, she's like, crutch. Oh, it's not. Yeah, I loved that. That was hilarious. Oh yeah. And then Deaver gets told, quit going after the kids. Don't do this. And well, yeah, I was writing really quick, and so like it looks like EXTIN or R and then a Y, but it's just that the G didn't get closed at the top because I was writing really fast. Deaver getting told to stand down, and then she said, call all the other agents in, and I was just like, okay, this could go a couple of different ways. Either like she's calling everybody in to say, okay, we're done, you know, come on in, stop going after them, or she's calling them in to, you know, to pursue them now that she knows where they are. Turned out she was calling the agents in to pursue them more aggressively. And I have, what is Deaver doing? I really want to know what's going on, why Deaver is so dead set on this. I mean, because she's like seriously obsessive. It's a little bit over the top. Oh, and then I made a little note. This is nerd stuff. Them sliding through the teacher desk doesn't work that way. The teacher desk actually has a sheet metal on the other side. Now, granted, I haven't taught in New York, or excuse me, in Jersey City. So I haven't taught in Jersey City. But having been in schools in multiple locations, like those kinds of desks in offices as well tend to have a front panel that covers the opening. So you can't just slide through like that. But I was just like, oh, I recognize this. That doesn't actually work that way. But okay, we'll just go with it. Not a big deal. Andrew, of course you did. Of course you sang the Weird Al version. All right. Yeah. I was not, you know, we were talking about the fact that they were using these supposedly non-lethal weapons when they're in the school. And some of the shots, some of the blasts hit the cinder block walls and take chunks out. Like, non-lethal. Okie dokie. Yeah. Don't buy it so much. They're shooting at kids. Now, and they know. Now, I guess they don't know that the others don't have superpowers. But they only know, at that point, they only know of one that has superpowers. I don't know if they'd figured out that the Cameron was not Nightlight. When people start using a mouse with the computer moves, I'll stop losing my mind. Do people not use a mouse with computers? I'm pretty confident, and people in the chat can tell me this. I'm pretty confident that there are movies where people use a computer with a mouse. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, and then we cut to the outside where people have gathered protesting the Department of Damage Control's actions, and there are cops who are there to for crowd control. And I was just like, wow, those cops are really restrained, given that this is supposed to be contemporaneous. I'm just saying. Yeah, and then, so yeah, what is Deaver doing? Then, all caps, what is going on with Deaver? So yeah, she's gone off the rails. The last episode, world ending, but this is so much better. That was our family's consensus. That now that we got rid of that whole, veil, oh no, world ending, and we can focus on the characters, that's what really matters. And my thought is, the whole thing with the veil and the alternate dimension is something that was shoehorned in by Suits. Not the showrunners, not the creatives, but the people who are the people who are behind the money or attached to the money, who are thinking, well, this is a relatively unknown character. We need something important to make sure that people pay attention and want to know what's going to happen next. And especially when they said, yeah, you're talking about partition, right? So we can make it so there's this other dimension and there's like this partition, and then if the partition doesn't stay, then this dimension's gonna, take over ours. And it was sort of a condition of, you get to do the show, but you have to include this element. And so the showrunners are like, okay, we'll do that. And they deliberately made it suck, because that goes, not only does that undercut what they were saying about the partition thematically, it actually goes, it's the exact opposite. It's saying, no, the border is important and it's good. These two realms need to be separated for the safety of our people. And they're like, yeah, that's a bad message. That's not the message. That's the message we don't want to send. So they deliberately made that element of the story crap, so they could be like, okay, we did that, and now we're going to go away. We're going to just take care of that and put that away. And now we're going to go back to what's good. Now, the downside of that is all of that really ramped up when they went to Karachi. It would have been great if they didn't have to do that, and they could have focused on the relationship between the family, maybe not even bringing in the whole, Red Scarf Brigade? Anyway, them guys. Not even bringing them in at all, but really focusing on the family and the cultural differences between Jersey City and Karachi. That would have been so much better. I kind of think they didn't have that option. So, the bit about Kamran just wanting to be normal, I think they could have done a better job of setting that up earlier on, because he was sort of introduced as like this popular new senior who was like sort of good looking, had a fast car, and seemed to be popular and accepted. So not that it's not a big deal, but I feel like they could have set that up a little bit better, especially in his conversation with Kamala when they were at the diner. They could have easily thrown in a line about how, everybody seems to like him, but they don't really know him, especially since he's new, and feeling like he doesn't actually fit in. Yeah, Steve, exactly. I would say not just tacked on, but like shoved the heck in there and just, ugh. Yeah, Red Scarf Brigade. Makes sense. The whole red scarf thing threw me off because they're the Red Daggers and they wear red scarves. So I call them the Red Scarves, okay? Oh, yeah. And then Agent What's-His-Name telling Deaver that she's fired on the phone. It's like the Lois Lane question. How dumb was he? Like, what, you think she's just gonna just sit down and wait quietly because you asked her when you're not even there? Like, why? Why would you do this? Okay, video montage. A-R-T-E? Art? I don't know. There was a video montage. Maybe it was the fight. I don't know. Oh, no. After. That's what it is. After. The F didn't go down far enough. Yes. Oh my goodness. That was hilarious and delightful and I loved it. Of all the little TikToks, that was great. Well, Steve, that would be fine. So what he should do is say, this has been a complete cluster F. We need to talk about this and figure out how to make it go better next time. And of course, the answer to that is not with you, but he doesn't need to say that with her. He needs to say, we need to figure out how you can do better by looking for success elsewhere. I don't know. But don't let her know that, you're going to come for her. It's like saying, okay, we're going to arrest you. Just stay there. No. Ha. I'm breathing. Okay, then my next note. Let's see. Towards the end here. I don't know. Can you see this? The scene on the roof. Yusuf. Oh. They have a great heart-to-heart. We did kind of quibble over, the fact that the roof is really flat. Choices were made there. I don't remember, having grown up in that general area and having seen a lot of those, porch roofs, they tend to have a little bit more slope than that. But I was like, okay, safety first. I can support that. And, Ross, she should have been fired. They need to, fire her and put her in, damage. They need to damage control her. She's the damage. Oh, anyway. Great little scene on the roof. And when she, pops up and does her little with her little sparkly footprints, the angle of it on his glasses, the reflection, it's right under his eyes. So the sparkle looks like tears. And he says, magic. And I'm just seriously, I'm tearing up right now. And of course we saw it, we saw that they were talking about her name and Kamala and what it means. And I'm just like, okie dokie. That it means Marvel and you're our little Miss Marvel. And she's, so of course that's, but, that was well written. It was, not as well written as some of the best stuff, but it was well written. But yeah, that lineup, so his eyes sparkled. That was just my heart. And I say I would have loved to end on him, but we need to, set up for wherever they're going next. They had a nice beauty shot of her sitting on top of, a big old lamppost. That was nice. And then they were arguing about Cameron's car, and I was very curious because Cameron had said it was his uncle's car. So I'm just wondering how all that plays out with whose name is on the title. And now that, most of, or if not all of the Jean have been turned to dust, how does that work? Exactly. And then Bruno in the back. Bless your heart, kiddo. And then they drive off through the streets of Jersey City, which are completely empty. I'll just let that go. All I'm saying is, having lived in Atlanta and driven through driven around 285 at really about as empty as it can get. It's still not completely empty. It's just empty enough that you can drive less carefully, let's say. Yeah. Ross, I don't remember if they said relieved of duty, but that also could refer to, I mean, just for this instance, like you're off this case. So, I mean, honestly, your woman needs to go to jail, but and needs therapy. Let's be honest, something's going on there. Oh, and then I almost forgot. I didn't have it in my notes, but so Andrew, this is what I was talking about. Nadia's the one who pulls up in the car and says, "Get in, losers. We're going for shawarma." And I was just like, okay, that's a nice little Mean Girls shout out there. But actually, I didn't look this up, and I should have. Hang on just a minute. Mean Girls, 2004. Y'all, that came out before they were born. And I was just like, they're sophomores in high school. Is that really a thing these days? Because I feel like the showrunners are like millennials. And so it would be completely on for them. So yesterday, I was at a meeting of like a local youths meeting. And I was like, okay, so I know this isn't the point of why we're here, but I need to know this. And I said, okay, so finish this line. Get in, losers. We're somebody really rose to the occasion, says, we're going for shawarma. I'm like, yes, but no. I'm like, okay, so what's the reference? And they're like, oh, it's Mean Girls. I'm like, okay, so is that still a thing? I'm like, because Mean Girls came out a while ago. Do you know? And the one who said, we're going for shawarma, said, oh yeah, that's like an ascended meme. It's classic. I was like, okie dokie, I'll just, put in for retirement. I was like, okay, it's like the oldie station. Yeah, well, Ross, I was thinking about that, about it being a popular meme, but memes kind of come and go a lot. And I'm like, do I just remember this because I'm old? And like, I'm not hip to the new lingo? But apparently no. Clueless, yes, but it's from Mean Girl. And then, yeah, Ross, one of the things that we were talking about in my family was how it's a great way of blending. In a number of movies, they've ended by going out for shawarma. So, okay, so we're just gonna do an 80s and 90s a retro Queen Bees and Wannabes movie thing, homebody. Heather's is pretty grim. Clueless is nice and fluffy. And I would also add, even though it's not in the same genre, but just because I love Jamie Lee Curtis, Freaky Friday. And it's also got Lindsay Lohan, but yeah, just I have that feeling a lot now. I know that feeling. I'm old. Oh, I'm like the Crypt Keeper. So yeah, had a moment like that. It was lots of fun. Bananas. And badgers also, I would say, Andrew. Badgers are classic. Badgers are forever. All right, so that's all of my notes, and I've kind of kept up with stuff that's going on in the chat there. So, Daria, homebody. Gosh, I love Daria. Although I really, I couldn't stand Beavis and Butthead, but Daria as the spinoff show was great. Well, I did too, but I really like Jamie Lee Curtis. And Freaky Friday might might be my favorite of her movies. Although, of course, True Lies is another delight. And Knives Out also. And I think I've liked everything that I've ever seen her in, but she just is very, she not only gives a spot on performance in Freaky Friday, but also she just looks like she is just having a delightful time. And it's so much fun to watch. Okay, so last call for putting observations, questions, anything in chat. And then I'm going to finish off my dinner. I don't even think I'm going to bother warming it up because it's just right here. And I just don't feel like it. It's, I got tater tots and chicken strips. And it's just comfort food. So like, as long as it's cooked, I don't really, mind if it hasn't stayed warm. That's okay. So, let me look back here at the chat again. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, ooh. Yet another reason to see that, Steve. I've been... Oh, I forgot the end credit scene. Ross, what was the end credit scene? It's been like a week, and I didn't take any notes on it. I think I put the notebook down. Either that, or it wasn't something that really stuck with me. Like, if somebody reminds me, I remember what it is, but I've got nothing at this point. Homebody, that is encouraging. I remember I saw that today, and it was, what was it? The Defense of Marriage Act was the other one. But oh, wait, come back here. It was trending on Twitter. Let me see. Boop. What's happening? I would like to know. Respect for Marriage Act. I saw it said trending, Respect for Marriage Act, and I was like, oh, gosh, what are they doing now? And then I was like, oh, they want to repeal the Defense of Marriage Act. Okay. But, like, it's sad that my first reaction was, oh, what nonsense are they doing now? And it just tells you just what kind of era it's heckin' been. Oh, not swearing here, not swearing here, not swearing here. Okay. Yeah. I didn't really have a lot of feels on it. I was like, oh, okay. We have a more obvious link into the rest of it. I didn't really care about it. Andrew, you really didn't think Knives Out was going to be good? It looked fun. But yeah, Homebody, my thought on it, on the Respect for Marriage Act was that it was going to, have some bipartisan support, but then die in the Senate. But if it has that much bipartisan support in the House, who knows? Maybe it'll make a difference. I don't know. You swore. That's okay, Homebody. You can swear. As far as whether I got, let's find out. So let's go here. Boop, 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 boop. Content. Scrolly. 5. No, it looks, is that 5 or 4? Okay, they all say public and not processing, so I think it is now, it's safe, which is great, because I've still got, let's see, I still got this week and next week before school starts. Teachers go back August 1st, students are back August 4th, so I'm not to the point, sometimes, often, I'm excited off and on. I'm not excited, like, right now, but I'm looking forward to the new school year. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know exactly... I know what my courses are going to be. I know how many sections I have of each course that I'm teaching. I'm doing something new. I'm going to be facilitating dual enrollment classes. So I'll be talking to the principal either tomorrow or Thursday, theoretically, about what that's going to look like. So I'm kind of nervous about that, to be honest. Not really sure what the expectations for me are. Don't like not knowing expectations. don't like agreeing to do something when I don't know what the expectations are. Not really keen on that. But I'm confident in my abilities. And I'll leave it at that. Christopher, that is interesting. I did not know that. Looking at your hands is the universal movie language for switching bodies. That makes sense because, like, you can't see your face. Ross, yeah, our school, our system, when I grew up, I was used to starting around Labor Day and finishing early to mid-June. But the school I'm teaching at has us often start early to mid-August, and usually early August, and then finishing up around Memorial Day. Usually, graduation is almost always the Friday before Memorial Day, which means that week is finals week. Seniors are done the Friday before that, and then they have like graduation practice, road pickup, and things like that during that last week. Honestly, I like it better that way. We have a little bit longer school year, all told, in terms of the number of like weeks that we have overall, but that means that we have more days off during the school year. I really like that. I wouldn't mind, I think our summer break is about 2 months. I wouldn't mind having a 1 month summer break. I know I'm in the minority here. So, but I think that would be just about ideal. It's a nice long break, but it's not like forget everything you ever learned. Long break. And then again, if you still have the same number of days and the same requirement for seat time, you're still getting the same amount of education. That means you get more breathers during the year. And I really like that. I like that we have a week off in October for fall break. We have a full week for Thanksgiving. We have 2 weeks off between semesters at New Year's. We have President's Day. We usually get an extra day off. And then sometimes we get an extra day off for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Sometimes we do. And then a full week for spring break. Whereas when I grew up, we didn't have a fall break at all. We often got, I think we got a full week off for Thanksgiving, but it was because we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. So we didn't get like the weekends on both sides. But that was more because everybody knew this. The Monday and Tuesday after Thanksgiving are that's the start of deer season. So that's the rationale there. And then we didn't get any extra days off in January and February. And we were lucky if we got like Good Friday, Easter Monday off. Both of those. Generally it was one or the other, but not both. And then we got out, early to mid-June. But I also like getting out earlier and going back earlier because, like I said, right now I'm looking forward to the beginning of the school year. And I still got 2 more weeks. It's July 19, and I'm looking forward to the beginning of the school year. But that's because we got out a couple of days after Memorial Day, and we went on vacation almost right away. So when some teachers are just like, oh my gosh, I've got 3 more weeks, I'm like, I'm just not going to say anything, and I'll just take pictures at Disney World. Bye. And so you get out way early, and then by the time, you're finally catching your breath and relaxing, it's time to be like, okay, start thinking about heading back. And I'm okay with that. I really do prefer it that way. Homebody, I would say there's U.S. has summer school as well. And I do refer to terms because when I went to high school, we were on year-long terms, but we still had semesters. Like you had first semester, second semester. It was just like first semester was the first half of the course. Second semester was the second half of the course. Whereas now I generally still, when I'm talking to other teachers, refer to terms because I'm talking about the length of one course. So Andrew, you're so right. Identical and yet different. Yeah, Andrew, I think that's what I grew up with. Starting around Labor Day. Andrew, define getting in trouble. As far as it's it would be addressed with me. I'm pretty confident. As far as I don't know that I would necessarily get written up. A lot of it would depend on how much I swore and, where, like here, I'm at my house. Some of my lesson videos or my One Teacher Thoughts videos I do shoot at school. And so obviously, even if I'm there and you can tell that, by looking at the clock on the wall, that it's after school hours, that might be a reason they would say, you're representing the school, something like that. If I'm wearing a shirt that has the mascot on it or has the school name on it and I cuss, that's going to be a thing, guarantee you. The school violent prank scene. Nope, Wordfish, I don't remember that. Is it when they're sort of home aloning the school to slow down the Department of Damage Control goons? I don't really see that as pranking so much as, that's a combat scene as far as I'm concerned. Andrew, I find it interesting that what we would call fall term is, or fall semester, is referred to as Michaelmas. Anyway, I'm a little bit on the hungry side. If you think of anything else that I haven't addressed in the video, any observations that I missed, you know what to do. Leave me a comment, pretty please. This week, so tomorrow we're going to be watching Hilda, but that's on Steve's channel. And then I think this is the Saturday that I will have my Saturday 6. Yay. But that means that the day before that, on Friday, you can go to Let Me Listen podcasts on SoundCloud and or wherever you get your podcast from, I think, except maybe iTunes. But SoundCloud's where I go to listen to our podcast or to pieces of it, because I'm not really good at watching my own videos or listening to my voice. It's just weird, y'all. But if you're enjoying the Ensign's Log podcast, that's where you can find it. And that'll be up on Friday. And we're still, our characters are still figuring out what the heck to do. I don't know where Dana is. We're still figuring that out. We have talked about it. We have some ideas. Nothing set in stone. It probably won't be set in stone until we actually get to that part in the not script. At any rate, and then Saturday will be Saturday 6 at 6 here, talking about good things. And yeah. And then next week, we will not have the same sort of Trek Reluctantly. We're going to start a little bit early at 5:30 on Steve's channel. Not tomorrow, but next week. And then we'll have half an hour for chit chat and Wednesday Wordle. And then we're going to help the DC Public Library by logging into their portal and learning about how to add metadata to their digital collection of items that they got from the Black Lives Matter protests. I'm really excited about that because libraries, yay! And then we'll continue with Readaway next Friday, and then Trek Reluctantly as usual. The next 2 weeks will both be Star Trek weeks to make up for the fact that we missed one. So I think that's everything. Anyway, additional questions. Let me peek one more time in the chat. Doop, doop, doop. No, see, Andrew, not winter. I think the counterpart to spring, pretty obviously, would be fall, obviously. And yes, there are support links such as charitylinks.page. Great opportunity to help friends. As well, I have links to Senate races. Candidates running for Democratic seats in the Senate, either to hold their seat or to flip a Republican seat to Democrat. These are all either races that are considered up in the air by Ballotpedia or a close race, that they're not likely but leaning either Democrat or Republican, so might be able to be pushed the way we want. So, Homebody, I don't know which episode we're doing for DS9. Ask Steve. And thank you all so much for coming and sharing your thoughts on this with me and helping me remember things. I really appreciate it. Bye. I love you. See, yes, Andrew, identical but different, and yet still special. Bye, folks.